Greetings. Welcome to the second in our monthly webcast series, sponsored by Travel Outlook, Track, a TravelNet solution, and Better Talent. I'm Doug Kennedy, coming to you live from our office down in the Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. Fortunately, we were not flooded away by the record 24 inches of rain, which happened just 5 days ago. I will tell you there's a thunderstorm in the area, so if our internet goes out, stay tuned. We have a backup plan. But excited to be with you. Our audience is growing. Our first webcast, we have even more today for our second one. We have 329 locations signed up, and I know some of you are gathered around, perhaps doing a lunch and learn. Some of you are watching at your desk. Some of you are working remotely. And our audience probably therefore exceeds even the 329. Those of you who weren't able to attend live, you're watching this on video, and I hope you enjoy that experience as well. Please stay tuned as we look for other topics rotating through different departments from hospitality, reservation selling. We'll be looking at hotel, group, and event sales. And most of our topics are broad enough to appeal to a wide range of people from various positions, job titles, and roles. Today, we're going to get very specific. We're going to look specifically at reservation sales training in the hotel and lodging space, and even more specific on one part of the overall reservations sales kind of call flow process. This is taken from one of our training classes, which is Reservation Sales Quest, which we provide both as an on-site training. We also provide it as a live 3-part private webcam. That's with small groups where we actually interact with you. We have a team of trainers and reservation coaches that do that. We also have an online Reservation Quest course for this particular topic. So let's get started. I will mention that this looks at questions we could ask both for callers, but also in textual message exchanges, such as email inquiries, in-app message exchanges that you may be having in conversations in Airbnb or Expedia, Booking.com, Verbo, any other OTA channels that you may be using. In fact, we'll be addressing that topic a little more specifically on textual selling in our May webcast. So for those of you who don't know, we are Kennedy Training Network. We're a team of about 20 people spread throughout the US, but our core office is at the headquarters here in the Fort Lauderdale area, about 15 minutes from the airport. So if you ever fly through, stop by, say hello. We do training worldwide. This is me presenting in Moscow, Russia. I've had the pleasure to do this in 15 different countries, 49 out of 50 US states, probably about 7 Canadian provinces, and about the same number of Mexican states. So we only train in lodging. We train only in the topics mentioned previously, and we're excited to have you with us today. So let's jump right in. Now, not long ago, at least it seems that way for me. I don't know if any other people ever out there can agree that every year seems to go faster and faster the older we get. Does not seem that long ago when people got their source for lodging planning was a directory, or even before this, a phone book. A few of you have even seen a phone book. Some of you maybe even used one. So people would go through a brochure, they would call for a brochure. Hotels would send out stacks of brochures every week. People would call up reservations. When I worked in reservations early in my career for Marriott and later in New York City at a luxury hotel on Fifth Avenue, we got all the time, hi, can you send me a brochure? And they would get a brochure, or they would get a directory for a city from something called a bookstore. And then out came websites. You might remember this computer, dial-up internet, ding, 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 shh, boing, boing, boing. And there was this nifty new thing called a website. And the website, well, first of all, it took a while to download. You say, oh, a picture, shh, it would be slowly appearing before you. And guess what? It was the same picture that was in the brochure. And then almost overnight, in a very rapid succession, things changed. And out came, I'm going to jump ahead here about 1 decade, I guess. In 2004, the first ever Android came, and in 2007, the iPhone. And suddenly, at their fingertips, travelers had the rates displayed transparently. It used to be you'd have to call and get rates, and You know, a lot of us in the industry learn how to play games and, you know, when to fade or fall back to a lower rate. And then suddenly everyone could see the rates everywhere. And so we had to have rate transparency and also rate parity. Reviews came out. TripAdvisor really changed the lodging industry, and quite frankly, I think made us all up our game in terms of quality of experiences when TripAdvisor pretty much invented the online reviews, at least in the hotel and lodging space. And now, of course, everyone does reviews. In fact, we get review fatigue, Expedia reviews. If you ever travel and book through a third party, you're going to get the hotel asking you to do a review. You're going to get Expedia asking you to do a review. If you're about a third or more of our audience is sitting in today from the vacation home rental industry, and you know Vrbo and Airbnb, they all want people to do reviews. Images, originally when that computer first came out and that I showed you a minute ago, you'd have the picture of the hotel and then one photo of each different room category. Now, if you're a hotel, you probably have 5 or 10. Some on third parties, I see they've got like 75 different photos. It's the room from every angle. In the vacation rental segment of lodging, we have definitely gone all the way with not only image galleries, but actual 3D tours, 3D floor plans, 360 views have become popular. And also the ability to easily book online. So they can complete their whole travel plan right from that phone. During this time, many marketing, distribution, and revenue management mindsets believe voice was a dying distribution channel. Now, for those of you new to the industry, let me explain the term distribution channel. Many of my veterans know very well, but a channel is really a path or a means by which we sell our accommodations. So website is a channel, OTAs and third parties are a channel, and direct is a channel. That could be website direct or telephone direct. People thought phone calls are going away. In fact, in the mid 2010s, the 20-teens rather, a lot of people said, Doug Kennedy, you better find a new job because, you know, front desk is going away. Everybody's going to check in with their phone. Funny, only about 20% utilization from the hotels that I've talked with. They said hotel sales was going away because now everyone could just book on Cvent. More on that in June. And then they said, of course, reservations is going away. At that time, companies began hiding their phone numbers. They put it at the bottom of the website, or especially on mobile. Greetings that push people back online. I don't want to pick on any particular brand, although I'm tempted to call them out. Actually, I could probably say most of the brands greet their callers with this, especially if you call that brand central number. Hello, thank you for calling Brand X. Did you know you can book online? For your convenience, we have a website. One major brand, actually one of the top ones, says, in fact, you can book online. And in fact, put your phone number in and we will text you a link. Can you imagine? Oh, honey, guess what? They're gonna let me book online. They have this thing, it's called a website. Wow, how cool, 2023. Guess where we get the phone number from, hotel brands? Your website. We already know that. People call, okay? And yet we push them back online. And then for hotel brands and hotel industry in general, and frankly for vacation rental. And by the way, probably not any of the people here today, because the people that are doing the best in this space are the ones that turn out to learn more. So probably I'm talking about the, 100,000 other companies in your state, province, or country that did not sign up to join us today. And they're experiencing the de-evolution of reservations conversations. Okay. So what's happening there in the hotel space, back to order taking. You know, my very first reservation sales class, I started my first training company in my 20s, and the year was 1989. And we actually had a first promotion that went out. Do you have order makers? Do you have order takers? That's when we got into the mystery shopping business, and we would actually call up, say, hi, I'm thinking about staying. Can you tell me a little bit about the hotel? When is it? How many nights? How many people? How many beds? Here's the price. And then in the 90s, my company and others And then in the early 2000s, the 2010s, we evolved that to be a sales job, reservation sales agents. Again, those of you here today are probably doing this, but the other companies that didn't sign up, they've gone back to order taking. Hi, I'm planning my honeymoon. When is it? How many nights? How many people? How many beds? Do not think you're special. You are caller 19. I had 18 before you, and I got about 20 more to come before my shift is out. In the vacation rental space, specifically what's happening here, what I'm talking about, those of you in the hotel side, you may not actually all be familiar with vacation rental. Unfortunately, it's labeled as, oh, Airbnb or Vrbo. Airbnb and Vrbo are distribution channels, okay? The real action is happening at professionally managed vacation rental companies. Now, like the ones turning out today, you all know it is our job when someone calls, that's the hottest lead we can get. So let's engage them. But the other vacation rental companies that did not sign up, what they do, website search support. I literally was listening to a new client's calls before the training this weekend when I came in preparing for a webcast I'm doing this week. And I actually heard the first two calls that we had scored. By the way, we do remote call scoring where we log in to the cloud, download recordings of real calls and score those. So my team gets to hear real calls, and sometimes I hear them too. In two cases, the first two calls I heard, the person said, hi, I've been online, and then some version of, it's really confusing. I'm having a hard time figuring out where the properties are actually located, the rental homes. Can you help me? And in both cases, they said, okay, well, what are your dates? How many bedrooms? How many people? Do you need a hot tub? Do you need a game room? Okay, what's your email? I'm gonna send you a list. So the companies that didn't sign up today in this space, and also resorts do this, if you have a resorts that have a multitude of different accommodations, they find out the information, they email the list. We treat a reservation inquiry as if it is a website help desk for somebody that can't figure out how to book online, okay? So as I say in my classes, and I will share with you now, a Doug Kennedy mantra. Take a screen capture if you want, write this one down. If you want to get just as much business as everyone else gets, just do the same things as everyone else does. Find out the dates, how many people or how many nights, how many bedrooms, click enter, tell them the price, or send them an email. And if you do that, you will get market share. Marketing directors on this Zoom today. Oh, excuse me, it's GoToWebinar. Distribution managers on this GoToWebinar. Revenue managers, business owners, general managers, are you happy with market share? Do you just want your slice of the pie? That's not the idea of capitalism, folks. We want to outsell the competition because they're trying to outmaneuver us. That's the game we play. And I will tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, if that's all we do is find out the dates, the special needs, the attributes, quote a price, or email a list, our AI will soon replace our jobs. I'm sure we have all heard of Siri, Cortana, which is Microsoft, Alexa, Google has Bard now. They're all clamoring for Chat GPT. OpenAI came out with Chat GPT recently, and now I was just reading last night in the New York Times that Google is going crazy to catch up with them because ChatGPT is now aligned with Bing, and Samsung, as of yesterday's news, was apparently considering dumping Google and installing Bing as the default browser. AI is getting smarter, okay? But we're live humans, and we can do things that no computer can. We can make human connections. We can forge human connections. We can genuinely deliver authentic hospitality through the magic of satellites and transmission cell phone towers. We can literally touch the heart of strangers that we have conversations with across miles and kilometers, across borders of states and countries, across continents. We can have those conversations. Do you ever get that from ChatGPT or AI? I'm sure we have all called, oh, our bank, any financial institution, any technology company. Thank you for being a valued customer. But before I give you a live person, let me answer 5 annoying questions that I would like you to answer. Invalid entry, invalid entry. Thank you for being a valued customer. Have a great day. Doesn't that just give you that warm fuzzy? And yet, in reservation sales, we have all had that conversation where you hang up and you think, oh, what a nice person. And you get that little warm feeling in your heart. Guess what, folks? Just like going back here, they're feeling it too. We spread the love through digital technology. And if we do that, humans will always have jobs in this field. But what else can we do better than a machine? What can we do? We can be local area experts. We can offer local insiders tips. You know our callers want this. Those of us who answer reservation calls, you know what we hear every day when we hear those live recordings that we download and score. It's a very interesting space we're in here at KTN. Yeah, we still do mystery shopping where we pretend we're callers, but about half of our clients, we listen to real calls. And I'll tell you what we hear all the time, and you hear it too, don't you? The caller starts off after you answer with your location and your name. They say, hello, where are you? And they want to know actually where you are. Are you physically there? Actually, I can't divulge my location. They want to know that you're a local area expert. We have some great call center clients. Travel Outlook, one of our call center clients that is our sponsor. They are really good at being those local area experts. It is part of their training. Our other call center clients as well. The ones that don't use us, all they do is teach people how to work a reservation system, look up rates and quote dates. If you want to be good in central reservations, train your staffs about locations. If you are on site, you should be the best at this because this is where you live. Now, maybe you don't actually live there. Maybe you live in the next town over, or maybe they've hired you to work remote, but you can become an expert by going online between calls and making sure we can give local insider tips. The second thing we can do as humans that Chat GPT and all the other IVR, interactive voice response, that's what we've called them for at least a decade, the other computers can't do, we can help them overcome a modern era phenomena called choice overload. This guy's got a bad case right here. He needs some Tylenol. I'm sure we've all felt it. Anything you go to shop for these days, you have so many choices and options that it's amazingly confusing. More choices do not give us pleasure and happiness. They make us stressed. They cause us to have a fear of missing out. A lot of you know this as FOMO, okay? And so this is a really key point. People are overwhelmed with choices. In fact, the 2 calls I listened to you, they both said not only had they been online and they've been looking, but there was a lot of choices. They either very often will blatantly tell us like it's really stressful. Are all of you who take reservations, I'm sure you've given out, you've asked for a sale, may I secure that? And they say, okay. And then they say, oh, so glad to get this over with. You hear it in their voice or they'll sigh, okay. They've made that decision. So I want you to remember the second Doug Kennedy mantra takeaway from today's webcast. It is not our job to help them find what's available. They don't need us for that anymore. ChatGPT, Bard, and whatever they call the next one can do that. Okay, now I have nothing against, I actually think it's a great idea for call centers to use virtual IVR, for example, to answer service calls, to answer questions about how late does room service go? What are the hours for the spa? Is there a restaurant in the hotel? Or if you're a vacation rental company, what are the check-in procedures? That is great. But when someone presses for a human, we want to be a human, okay? It is not our job to help them find what's available. This is our job. Help them decide. Help them decide that we're the right choice. And now is the best time. Let's do this. And I guarantee they're going to be happy. So our setup, I know that was a long setup. You know, if you attend our webcast every month, you'll find I like to spend a lot of the time on the whys behind the whats, why it is that I'm asking you to do what it is I'm going to ask you to do. Takes a little time, but I know you're smart because smart people are the ones that turn out for training opportunities, aren't they? And so by understanding the whys, the whats will make sense. So here we go, 5 questions. The first one is asked in response to the 2 most common opening remarks that we hear real callers saying these days. You know, years ago, they would say, hi, I'm thinking about making a reservation. Can you help me? Now, the whole call, it starts with, I just have a quick question about, and they want to know things like, how does parking work? Now, let's think about that. Did they really just have a question about how parking works? Yeah, they had nothing better to do with their time than to call up a bunch of places and ask about parking. Okay, great, thanks. They're thinking of staying there. All right, another one. Hi, I'm shopping online and I just want to know the rates. Just checking rates. Never going to stay there. I'm just shopping online and checking out rates. It's a really fun thing to do. You know, Yellowstone is getting boring these days. We already can predict what's happening. There's just not enough other shows available to binge watch anymore. So I'm going to call up a bunch of hotels and vacation rental places just to say, what do you charge? I don't think that's what's happening. All right. So our first question for you today is one of these. Screen capture it, write it down. Now that I've answered your questions, are there any dates I can check for you? Hi, I just got a question. Is a baby a person? Oh yeah, a baby is a person. But does it count? It says there's a maximum of 4 in this room or 8 in this home. Is a baby a person? Yes, a baby is a person. Okay. But it may or may not count towards the head count, right? Now that I've answered your question about babies or parking, are there any dates I can check? Now that I've checked those rates, okay, thanks a lot. I'm shopping online and I just have a question. What are the rates you're seeing? These are the rates. Okay, thanks a lot. They're going to hang up and book it online. And in many cases, you have to do work anyway. It comes through. Even if you have a seamless reservation system, you still have to check it for accuracy. Many of you have to do manual entries to have that channel match up with your property management system. So let's get them to book now, okay? Because now we have a direct booking. So, hi, I'm shopping online, or they don't even say that. I'm just checking rates. Now that I've confirmed the rates, may I ask what website are you on, okay? And now for those who say they're shopping on the OTA, let's reiterate the benefits of them booking directly. First of all, we probably have the same rates. If you're a hotel, this is because Expedia, Booking.com generally require rate parity. So that means the rate is going to be the same online as with us. Now, in fact, if we're slick, you might find a way around that. Say, well, it is the same rate, but if you book with me directly, I can throw in a $5 gift card, or I can waive a fee, or I can get you a special room request, right? So think about that. Now, also, a lot of people call and we can say, well, the good thing is you can book it directly with us. And that way, if you have any changes, you'll come right back to us. Of course, those third parties, you'll have to go through them. Okay, we may have better booking terms. Now, if you're a vacation rental company, somehow you all get away, the OTAs have not clamped down, you are allowed to have rate disparity. That means your direct rates can be less than the OTA rates at a Vrbo, or if the caller is clever enough to have looked up the actual home name and found their way, looked up the actual home name on Airbnb, found their way to your website and called you, you could have better rates and also better booking terms. But here's the real thing: across all channels, across any type of lodging company that is represented in today's webcast, you can help and finish it now. Okay. Question number 2. You've probably heard this one before. Have you stayed with us before? This is one of the questions we started training in 1989 when I was in my 20s. I always like to add that when I refer to something that happened 33 years ago. Have you stayed with us before? The idea is we can welcome them back if they're a repeat guest, and we can look them up in guest history and save a lot of time. If they're a repeat guest, we know they already know about the amenities, the services. We can save ourselves some time as well, okay? If they're a first-time guest, we know we have to do more selling. But let's update this question for 2023, okay? It's time to evolve our processes. It's been 34 years since that time. Let's say this may be better. Have you stayed with us before, or did anything online catch your eye? All right. Now, if you're a traditional hotel with 3 different room categories, this first one may still work best. If you're a resort with 7 different room categories, or if you're a hotel even that has a lot of packages, right? And especially if you're in the vacation, home, or condo rental business, you definitely want to ask this version. Have you stayed with us before, or did anything online catch your eye? All right. And now we find out 2 pieces of information. For one, if they stayed before, it makes it easy for them to rebook. Now, what happens is we may be sold out. A lot of times the repeat guest starts to book online and they find we're sold out. Okay, and if all you do is say, oh, we're sold out, you know what they say? Oh, I know that, but don't you all like put rooms aside for special people? Oh yeah, we put like 10% of our rooms aside when we're sold out. That's kind of a funny question, isn't it? But you can say, oh, actually during that time we are sold out, but are your plans flexible? Okay, can you switch your date pattern by 1 day? Maybe there's only 1 day of their stay that's sold out. Maybe that birthday is on a Wednesday and they could come the week before or the weekend after that birthday. At least we're going to try to help them. Okay? Now, if it is their first time, and if you have said, have you stayed with us before? Did anything online catch your eye? Actually, a lot of times they're going to say they saw something online, but they're experiencing FOMO, fear of missing out. Well, actually, I was online and I saw this option. Is that a good choice? So it's good when people ask you your opinion, but it is great when you say, oh, that's actually one of our most popular accommodations. Or as we delve further into the questioning, based on what you told me, I think that would be an excellent choice. And now you reassure them and you diminish their FOMO. Look how happy she is. Ah. Next up, this is good. What brings you to town? Okay, don't say what brings you to the city. You're actually going to say the name of your city. What brings you to Fort Lauderdale? Okay, if I was selling my own town, that's good. This may be better. Let's update this for 2023, folks, before 2023 is over. It's almost a third over. That's scary. Is there anything special I can help you plan during your visit? Okay, now that accomplishes this right here because they're going to say, no, it's just a business trip, or no, I'm just actually attending a conference. Okay, but by the way, how far are you from the convention center? So my hotels, you could use this. Now, if it's a leisure stay, what brings you to town? It's a birthday. Okay. Is there anything special I can help you plan? Actually, it's going to be my wife's 40th birthday or our child's 10th birthday. Oh, double digits. Congratulations, right? So that's fantastic to know. Let's get your lodging set up. And what happens next is let's get your lodging set up. And now you can convince them that your hotel or your company is the best choice. Now you can convince them that you are the best choice for them to book. You can upsell the accommodation. Well, you know, our lowest price accommodation is this, but since it's a special occasion, I would definitely recommend for only $100 more, okay? And then here's the other thing. You can cross-sell amenities, concierge services, and packages. Sell the experience. Don't be a room renter. AI can do that. Chat GPT can do that. What we can say is, Oh, well, since it's a special occasion, let me also tell you about if you're a hotel. Now, it depends on which kind of hotel. If you're a focused service, if you're a Residence Inn, if you're a Hampton Inn, you can say, right here in our neighborhood, we have so many excellent choices. If you're a full service hotel, you can sell your restaurant. You can say, well, I have you on the line. Actually, at the end of our call, I'm going to definitely suggest you go ahead and book your spa appointments or your dining reservations. Luxury hotels and resorts, we want that guest to make their plan in advance. We don't want them to check in on Friday night when it's the wife's birthday and they call to make a spa appointment for that massage, and she's got to either go at 8:30 in the morning or 5 o'clock at night, okay? Because all the midday appointments are gone, or worse yet, she can't get in. So amenity services packages. If you're in the vacation rental space, many of you are getting into the experience business, partly as a profit generator because you get commissions, but mostly as selling the experience, set ourselves apart. In fact, I just saw a note in Skift, S-K-I-F-T. If you're not subscribing to Skift, you should. It's the hotel and lodging industry's #1 technology blog. They were surmising, they were guessing, Airbnb is pausing its guest experience. I forget what they call it, Airbnb experiences. And Skift, not me, Skift is surmising that maybe it's because they figured out they can't do it as well as others can, and to focus on their core businesses. An app cannot sell an experience like a human can. So for the company, this increases your total revenue, okay, per room, or revenue per guest accommodation, okay, or revenue per guest. For the guest, it helps them plan their overall experience, okay? And I want you to remember that because people are buying the overall experience. They're not renting a place to sleep. Which leads us into question 4 of 5. Ask the conversation starting questions. So once you have the dates, the bedding requirements, the special needs, and you click and you found out they're either a repeat guest or not, they either have something in mind or not, you have some idea of why they're traveling, and we click enter and we wait. The more advanced the systems get, the property management systems get, it seems like the slower they operate. So a lot of them are web-based, and we can't control that internet upload speed. So it takes a while anyway, and we can let that dead air time hang. It's a great time to fill it in with the conversation starting question. Hey, as I'm checking those rates, are there any questions I can answer for you about our location or our amenities? Ladies and gentlemen, this allows you to have a conversation, okay, and not a transaction. So Chat GPT can only answer yes or no questions, right? What do they call it, from the expanded language? But we can actually make a connection. Or we can say, well, ma'am, miss, since it's you and your romantic partner, she would love to have a visit to the spa while you're getting ready for your meeting. Your life partner can go to the spa. Or since you're here on business, sir, your partner, he might enjoy going out on an excursion during the day. Okay, we can actually answer questions. As I'm checking availability, do you have any questions for me? Actually, I do. How far are you from? People can look on maps, but based on my experience traveling almost every week, maps don't really know the shortcuts, and neither does Waze, like an insider person does. Or they might ask you, what's a good locals place? Okay, or they're going to say, if you ask this one here, as I'm checking availability, do you have any questions? They're going to say, no, I'm good. But a few minutes later, they have a question. You're giving them permission to have a connection. All right. And now we can start a conversation before we start giving price. We can sell the value of the experience. Once we name a price, the price is all they think about. Now, in mystery shopping and the call scoring business, we place calls all around the world. We score calls all around the world. And we find this is how most hotels and most rental companies, if you've not been training, this is how they sell. Once again, probably not those of you the 329 locations that have signed up to join us today, you're probably among the best, but make sure we stay focused, because if you find out the dates, number of people, give a price, you're building your value proposition on a weak foundation and it can topple right over, okay? And so as I'm checking availability, do you have any questions about our location, our amenities? Now we have a chance to talk about where is it located, how far to this, how close to that. We can answer specifics about amenities, services in the accommodation, in the home, in the resort area or nearby, okay? Then we put a price on it. And then that's a nice little lead in to the top of the pyramid. Quote rates asked for the sale. And guess what our question 5 is, by the way? But as I'm checking availability, are there any questions I can answer for you? Let's knock out these questions first before we top it out with the price. And now, question number 5. Always, always, always offer to secure the sale. But how you say it is important. Please do not say this, y'all want to book it? You want to book it? No, I don't want to book it. Let me secure this for you right now while it's still showing available. 2 things we're doing here. Sip, pause. 2 things we're doing here. Let me secure it for you. Doesn't that sound better than y'all want to book it? It's kind of like when the server comes up at the end of your meal and says, you want dessert? And everybody at the table is like, no, you want dessert? No, well, wait, we don't need the extra calories. But the sly server, the slick server, when we do our food and beverage training, we talk about not only is this good for upselling, but it sounds so much better. So may I tell you a little bit about our desserts? Or may I describe for you our desserts? Or the really smart ones, may I show you our desserts? And now everyone at the table is like, what do you think? Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna get something. Okay, bring 2 forks and 2 spoons. You know what? I'm gonna try that. Actually bring 2 desserts. And then everybody at the table chimes in and everybody gets a dessert and everybody's sharing. Do you want dessert? No. Can I tell you about them? Yes. Do you want to book it? No. May I secure that for you now? The odds are a lot higher. They're going to say yes. So please, please, please make it a habit. Quote the rate, ask for the sale. Do not let it hang. We hear this in our new clients. We do mystery shopping and they say, okay, and the rate is. And our mystery callers are trained to hang there about 3 or 4 seconds. Okay, so the rate is. Okay, thanks a lot. We'll call you back. Don't feel bad. They called you. The phone number posted at your website says for reservations, call. It does not say if you have nothing better to do than watching Netflix, call. Right? So if the caller hopefully will say yes. Now, sometimes, let's go back to this add-on question for you. I call this 5A. Sometimes the caller says, hi, I don't want to book. I just have a question. All right. So they tell you right up front. And a lot of people say, well, Doug, they told me they don't want to book. I feel bad asking. All right. So just add this. I know you said you were only checking rates, but may I secure that reservation right now while it's still open? Okay. I know you're just starting to plan your husband's getaway, birthday weekend, but yeah, go ahead and secure this in. I know you're just planning your girls' trip or your guys' trip or your family reunion, but yeah, secure it now while it's still open, right? And this benefits everyone. Think about it. The caller locks in the rate, okay? But you lock in a reservation, and it is to their advantage because if they call back, it may be gone. And that leads us to the response. They're either going to say yes, or they're going to say, oh, I have to check with my traveling companions. And they got to check with their husband, wife, partner, domestic partner, significant other, their roommates. Let's see, who else do they have to check with? Their parents, their mother-in-law, the father is going to be paying for the trip. Everybody's checking with somebody. Some will be honest and they're going to say they're just shopping around. In that case, create urgency. Availability is limited. The rate could change. You have all had somebody call back and say, hello, called earlier, now I'm ready. And you have to tell them either it's sold out or the rate changed. And now they're mad at you. Sold out? What? You don't have anything, nothing at all. Not even a closet. Don't you hotels put rooms aside for special guests? Or worse yet, you got to tell them the rate could change and it went up, okay? So availability is limited, the rate could change, and we have a limited number of that special accommodation for your very important trip, right? But what we can do, we can lock it in now. This depends on your type of accommodations, your rate and cancellation, your cancellation restrictions and policies. But some of you let them cancel if your hotels up to 72, 48, maybe even 24 hours out. Those of you who charge deposits, which is vacation rental, which is ski resorts, which is offshore resorts where you have a limited supply and people plan way ahead, we cannot resell that room if they cancel 72 hours out, okay? So we need a stronger commitment, 7 days, 30 days, 60 days. In that case, perhaps you can place it on a courtesy hold for 24 hours, or they can make the deposit and it would be fully refundable. And then you just do 5A. Here's 5A. So with that in mind, sir, keep in mind availability is limited. Rate could change, but I can lock that in now. You can always call back to cancel as long as it's more than X number of days in advance. So with that in mind, are you sure I can't lock it in for you now? And so thank you for joining us. This is number 2 in our series for 2023. I hope you've enjoyed our presentation of the 5 questions your reservation team should be asking for today's pre-informed and multitasking callers. Thank you again to Travel Outlook, Better Talent Track, a TravelNet solution. We hope you join us again in coming months. The topics are available. I'll give you the website in a minute. Please keep in mind, Kennedy Training Network, our core business is on-site training, conference speaking, private live webcam training in small groups with our team that meets with you and interacts with you directly. Remote call scoring and mystery shopping I already mentioned. And for those of you in the hospitality operations, the hospitality, part of hospitality certification. Here's our webcast for future and upcoming presentations on a monthly basis, or for more information, email me directly or check out our website. Thank you everybody for joining us today, for giving up part of your Monday. I hope you have a fantastic week and that we've helped get it off to a great start.